Aloha. My hair is very itchy nowadays. What are you gonna say? I can't lie, I have a spider in my room and my room is very dusty. This irritates me. I should probably clean my room. But I also can't be arsed. But like, it was a joke at first, but it's not becoming a joke anymore, bro. Like, I can barely breathe, bro. I can just see these dust particles flying about. Oh my god. It's making me forget what I wanted to talk about. But just give me 1 minute. What I wanted to, I can't lie, I have to, I'm going to clean my room. Our next video you'll see clean room. But what I'm gonna talk about, okay? I'm gonna talk about, you know, bad energy. Okay, we don't usually talk about bad energy here. But this is one of the few times I will talk about bad energy. Okay, and what it actually is, bro. I've kind of delved into this before in terms of synthetic energy, but sometimes you do get powerful synthetic energy. Okay, and these are your manipulators. Okay, these are the people that kind of understand that the human, this vessel, especially the spiritual side of it, can definitely be adjoined into something, into basically anything. Okay, because these are the idealists that believe that, you know, like that are very much anything is possible, so we're going to choose to follow this in a physical material way. You know what I mean? These are the people that will decide to, well, have the spiritual knowledge in a way, but then decide to pursue, you know, control and these things like that. And these are the people that you have to be wary of, okay? Because these people could come and they could appear to be spiritual messengers. They could appear to be, you know, they could appear to be helpful for you, especially if you have these sort of people that, you know, you're dating them and stuff, like, you get me? But you have to understand that, like, their intentions are not the same. And the only way that you can really draw out their intentions, I would say, is by, you know, calling their bluff, bro. If you get instinct, you know, if you get an instinctive feeling that, okay, this person isn't exactly who they're saying that they are, you know, call them out on their bluff, you know? Because I've never, like, personally experienced it myself, innit? I'll be honest, there was definitely a point in my life where I was definitely delved into that dark energy myself, innit? Like, and that's just me being real. But, like, at the same time, when I was delving into that dark energy, it wasn't really, you know, like, it didn't really have rules. Like, I was just kind of just operating purely for the devil's purpose, and I can see that now. Obviously, in hindsight, I can see that there was literally nothing good coming out from what I was doing, because I was getting myself into situations with other girls and stuff that I didn't like, that I didn't find attractive, that we didn't have a connection. And then I was just further ruining the connection. That is a very rare thing for me to have a connection anyway with a woman. Right? Obviously, we look at the looks, but, like, still, like, it's not a common thing in my life. And I used to wonder, why isn't this relationship working, yeah? When I was literally the one battering it with the fucking hammer, just at the roots, bro. You get me? Like, that was my reality. Like, this is what I'm saying, that it will blind you in that way. And it blinds the person that's operating in that field in that way. And I can say that from first-hand experience. And obviously, keeping this in mind, it does not mean that you should stay with that person and forgive them, okay? You need to leave that person. Because that person is in no state of mind to operate in a relationship at that moment in time. You have to leave that person. You have to. You can't stay with that person. Staying with that person doesn't bring any benefit. It only brings damage. It only brings damage because that person needs that reset. Or they need, you know, they need to just fuck off. And yes, it might mean that someone else will get hit with the damage, but that's just part of the way it is, bro. Unfortunately. because I've kind of clocked it, like not many people. But then again, at the same time, like in terms of people that I know and kind of respect, you know what I mean? In terms of people delving into that dark energy, I do see people delve into that dark energy, but not to the extent in which I was doing it. I haven't really seen that. But again, that makes sense because again, I feel like I'm definitely operating on a different kind of spirit to my peers, innit? But then I do see that dark energy manifest itself in a very low level way, innit? You know what I mean? Like, but like even in that way, you don't want to involve. But then again, the girls that will involve themselves in that sort of stuff will kind of, you know, they will let themselves know that they want to be involved in that sort of stuff because they're kind of involved in it themselves. But at the same time, you do find the ones that are just generally like emotionally traumatized, like just from like family or whatever and stuff like this. Like they're also very vulnerable. But at the same time, it's very sad because for those ones, it's very hard for them to, you know, like kind of because it's just it's clear that they've had a very traumatic experience. You know what I mean? So it's very hard for them to have that navigated for themselves. They're very early on in their development. These are what but we have to look after those people. If you find those people, you have to look after those people because they don't realize it themselves that they need to be looked after. But then they're the ones that will be most open to be looked after. You know what I mean? Because they're just their only issue is their trauma. It's not like part of their character. It's what's been imposed on them, innit? But yeah, I'm gonna clean my room. Trust me.